Hey, how y'all doing? This is Pastor Steve, and you're on the YouTube channel Chilling with the Pastor. This is our editor's room, and we wanted to talk to you all about the video you saw last week with Dr. John Hatton. He's a very cool individual, a really good guy. He was real easy to talk to.
Oh, yeah.
Very easy to talk to. Had a lot of the same interests, and it was a fun conversation. But I have affectionately dubbed him as being the pastor of pastors.
Yep.
So if you all don't know about, how the role of the district superintendent within the United Methodist system, the DS, the district superintendent, definitely is that. He's the pastor of the pastors. But diving right in, we gave him an opportunity to introduce himself, having been with us in the Kentucky conference, Heartland District here in the Louisville area, in surrounding areas. He hasn't been with us a year yet, so he has another opportunity to introduce himself. Mm-hmm. And in introducing himself, we found out something very interesting about him. He is truly a Methodist. His name is John Wesley Hatton. So for any of y'all that don't know, Methodism was pretty much started and informed by a gentleman by the name of John Wesley, him and his brother Charles Wesley. So, that was the Methodist of Methodist names.
Methodist of Methodist.
Methodist of Methodist names. But that was real cool, though, to hear that. But also, too, we asked him the same question we ask everybody. And when did Jesus Christ first become real to you? Had a very interesting answer for that as well. I encourage you very strongly to watch that video. If you have not watched that video yet before watching this, please go back, watch the Dr. John Hatton Part 1 video. You'll be able to get that. You get it pretty quick. And then you can come on back and we can talk about the rest of the video some more here. All right? Thank you. But we asked him that question. He had a very good answer for that. But also, too, I thought another interesting thing in that conversation we had with him was I just drew a blank.
I know from it where he mentioned he started off Methodist, and then he was looking at all the different other religions, trying to
denominations and whatnot,
seeing what his niche was, but he ended up coming back.
Yeah, I think he did say that he found something beautiful and sacred about Catholicism, being Catholic. I remember him talking about that, and as I think about it, and the different denominations that I was a part of, growing up myself, Catholicism was the one that actually probably scared me the most. I don't know if it was the sacredness of it, the more methodical approach to it, because there's a lot of things that they do that is just the same thing pretty much, over and over, repetition. And a lot of that stuff kind of scared me at one point, but yeah, that was pretty cool though, just to hear him talking about those different things and that path that he walked, that he journeyed, has been a part of the beginning of his journey, getting him up to this point.
Yeah.
But the other thing though too, even in the midst of that, during that particular portion of his journey before coming back to the United Methodist Church, he talked about how in college he was heavily influenced by another pastor within the Kentucky Annual Conference system, and he was influenced by him, and they started a ministry at their college campus because they noticed that there were passerbys passing by the Wesley Foundation at the college, and they were going to a nightclub. That's what you do in college, right? You get your party on a little bit. I mean, not everybody, but most people do. And they went to a club every weekend and whatever nights that they were open, and they noticed that when they would go there and they were coming back, that was an opportunity for them to offer peanut butter sandwiches, drinks, just to be able to sit down and just talk with them. And they really captured a lot of people's attention, a lot of people's interest in doing that. Yeah. I do remember there was a time in my life where I drank a little more than I probably should have at times. And I was very talkative during those times. So I could only imagine the conversations they had.
Right.
But was there anything else that stuck out to you?
I think.
In this conversation, we dug into just a couple of good points, and he had a lot to say about those couple of good points. I was able to kind of soak it in and take it in because the name of that ministry that made it was just interesting to me. The name was Jericho Road.
Yeah.
You know, they're walking down the road to the club, leaving on the way back. The road to Jericho, and what the significance of Jericho is in the Bible, how the walls were brought down. You know, it's just there's a lot of symbolism in the thought of that for me. I found it very interesting. That's why I had to ask him the question. Now, what kind of got y'all to the point of making it? You know, calling it Jericho Road. You know, it's kind of cool. You?
Me? Well, it was actually my first time meeting because I had met him before our interview. I didn't know because he's talking about his family, like his wife and his kids. I didn't know that they adopted, and then later on they were able to have their own.
Yeah.
But just him sharing his story about how he's seen like the racism through his son, how people have talked about his son and gone through that. Like I wouldn't have known, just looking at him.
Right.
But it was just interesting to see that he's seeing the same kind of struggles that other people are going through.
Most certainly. Yeah, that was a different part of the conversation that definitely took a turn that I didn't expect as well. When I first met him, I had heard about him, and met him before. Actually, he was one of the instructors or leaders in our pastoral ministry licensing school. Mm-hmm. So I met him there. We developed a little bit of a relationship at that point, but we didn't dig into personal life. It wasn't until recently when I sat down and talked with him and we talked about him coming on and doing the show with us is that he shared that with me, and he's got to sharing his heart about the ministry that he feels passionate about, and that being that him and a group of other individuals, mainly minorities, from the Hispanics to African Americans, every pretty much ethnic group that you can think of that's definitely within our system, they have been meeting and coming together because they want to bring about healing between the ethnicities, which I found that to be pretty awesome because honestly, you think, especially in church where we should be the most united, I think we are completely separated more than anything. Not only from one ethnic group or one race to the other, even still within our own ethnic groups, we're divided a lot. I know for myself as, being African American, I've noticed that other African American pastors are, I'm trying to think, I would say they're more competitive than you would think, right? You would think we would want to get together and worship together and have things together all the time, but it seems like we're competing for souls. Like, there's only but so many souls, and somebody got to get them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand that, but it is what it is. But I hope and I pray that that ministry will continue to move in the right direction, that they'll be able to continue to be able to get things going and really bring about that healing, especially within the Kentucky Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church.
Right.
That's the conference I know about, the system I know about, and yeah, we could definitely use some more unity, more communion amongst us. That is for absolute certain.
I thought you were going to say unity, more community.
Hey, that works too. It's still the same thing, right? Yep. Community, communion, commune. Hey, together. But yeah, we got a part 2 that's gonna come up next Friday, y'all. Be ready for that. Part 2 definitely will be launching next Friday at noon. We finished up the conversation with them. There's definitely some nuggets in that one too. There was some nuggets in part 2 for sure when we came to the conclusion of the conversation. So definitely tune in. If you have not, if you're watching this for the first time, you have not subscribed to our channel yet, go ahead and subscribe at the bottom. Click on that little bell down there so you get notifications when new content is loaded. That'll help us out tremendously. We want to get this out. We want to make sure everybody has opportunity to meet the people, the pastors that we've sat down and talked with and interviewed with. Let's help us spread the word. The pastors are people too, you know. Let everybody get an opportunity to see and meet some of these pastors, so that, you know, when you have an opportunity to really sit down and talk with your pastor, maybe you'll see that, you know, your pastor, they're really just like you. They're really just like you. They feel, they love, they love to talk. I say most, not all pastors. Not all pastors love to talk, but that's just a different conversation for a different day. But